Good evening, everyone. Princess Jerry Canola here. Welcome to Chasing Fruit Loops. It's a Long Island-based show out of Bobby Lacera's Paradise Studios in Massapequa. I feature the hottest and the coolest cats that I know around. Anyway, tonight's musical guest is Long Island guitar legend Jim Moran. Hi, Jim.
Hello. Hello.
How are you?
I am doing good today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get right into this. So why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and get acclimated with, my guests.
Okay. Well, I've been playing since I was 12 years old. I started when I was 12. I started taking lessons and practiced every day for years and years. And I still practice every day. And I became a professional when I was 19. And that's the rest is history.
Yeah, for sure. You got some name out there. According to your bio, you also play bass, drums, and keyboard.
Yeah, I play bass. I've done a lot of gigs on bass. I was a music teacher in quite a few music stores, about 3 or 4 different music stores. So like sometimes I'd be, in between lessons, and one of the guys had to step out and he'd be like, "Hey, can you do this drum lesson for me?" Sure. So I'd learn how to play and read the music and learn how to play drums, and same thing with bass and keyboards. Yeah.
So, would you say you're self-taught or did you have lessons?
I had lessons, yeah. I started taking music lessons when I was like 12. And then in high school, I took music theory. And then I went to Five Towns College for 1 year when I graduated high school.
Now, with, having those other talents, why didn't you pick up one of the others? Why did you stay with the guitar?
Well, the guitar was my first love, and that's what introduced me into like being a musician, was the guitar. And quite frankly, it's the instrument I guess I'm the best at, they'd say.
Right. Do you have a favorite guitar?
Yeah. Hold on. I got one right here. There we go.
Oh, you too, huh?
This is my number one Strat. I've had this one since 1996. It's a reissue of a 57 Stratocaster Fender.
Wow.
Yeah, one of my favorites. Definitely great.
Was it your first one, or was it your first guitar?
No, my first guitar was actually an acoustic that my parents bought me, like some nylon string from. It was a record store. It was actually on sale, and it was like $39.99 for Christmas. It was
wow.
At the music Bayshore, yeah.
You said before that you are a music teacher. So during this pandemic, are you doing any online lessons?
Well, before, I wasn't really teaching a lot before, but I got a couple of guys that I go back and forth with, FaceTiming and stuff, and, help them out. I'm more of a player these days than a teacher. I was doing a lot more teaching years ago, but I still kind of keep my hand in it and stuff. I was just teaching, what's her name? Michelle Curcio, you know her?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, her husband, Paul, who plays the harmonica. Yeah, and before the pandemic. And I guess we'll go back to working together and doing that again.
Can't wait, right?
Down. Yeah, unbelievable.
I love when I get to sneak out early on Sundays and fly down to the jam. Even if I catch you guys for like a half hour, for me, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's
so much fun at that jam.
Yeah, it's a great gathering. We have a really good time down there. I mean, it's just a real good cast of people that come down there, and great musicians and great people.
Great musicians, yeah. You got the Long Island Top going out there.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, you got the tops out there. Everybody goes down. You got Annabelle down there. John Sirianni comes down there. Tony Barker comes down there. It's like one after another rolls in. And it's like, I'm like, glad I came out,
Well, back in the day, like even like years ago, remember we used to do Jakes, and that was before the internet and all that stuff. And Ed the Hat, he was like our internet. He was the one that went around the room and told everybody, "Hey, you gotta go see us over here. Go see us over there." So that's how we got. Believe it or not, he helped build up the following to the Jam by a lot of his promotions. Promoting.
Yeah, well, he's personable. He loves being out in the public. Me, everybody's like, I come out in the public. It's like, hi, and I'm like, I'm with people all the time. But I love people, but sometimes I get myself into a situation where, you know what, you should have just went the week after, and just taken a little break. Yeah. I know. I'm just like such a cornflake sometimes. I really can't help it.
Well, everybody's got
how
their
about
own
a
thing,
website
right?
where people? Yeah, I kind of march to my own beat anyway. I'll be walking out the door. My housemates will be like, "The hell are you wearing? Aren't you going out later?" "Yeah, I'm wearing scrubs. I'm going to work. Then I'm going out." "And you're not bringing a shirt?" Like, "No, march to my own beat, baby. I'm good." Do you have a website where people can contact you?
I did back in the day, but then once we came around with MySpace and Facebook and the social media and stuff like that, I kind of let it go.
Yeah. What is the very first song that you learned?
Probably "Sunshine of Your Love," Cream.
Oh, do I know that one?
If you've seen the Goodfellas, yeah, you know that one. That's the one. Remember the scene with Robert De Niro? Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of scenes with him, but
yeah. Yeah,
Oh, okay. I'm a little blonde here, and I'm a little bit, out of the times. So I gotta play catch up. This is new for me, doing it like this. I like being in the studio where you're next to me and I can talk to you like a human being. But now It's like, "Hi, Jim, are you there?"
Yeah. This is like this is the way whenever you turn on the TV and watch the news, this is the way it is now. Wherever you go.
I know. Kind of scary in a way, I'm not liking this, but that's neither there. What's the hardest song you've ever played?
Oh, Christ. Let's think. I don't know, but there's a lot of hard songs I've played. It depends. Like some songs, like doing a lot of jazz and stuff like that, and some up-tempo numbers were pretty hard. Like working on Charlie Parker songs when I was younger in the real book, those were really hard to do. And learning like violin pieces when I was younger, stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
That was tough. Yeah, that was tough stuff.
So you're taking like a violin piece and you're putting it to guitar?
Yeah. Like my old guitar teacher had me going through this book. It was called the Kreutzer book. It was a classical. It was like a lesson book, but it was written many years ago for violin students and stuff. And some of the pieces were like really challenging. And then doing some like Bach and doing duets in college, like sonatas and partitas for two flutes. Yeah, that was like tough stuff. But after doing a lot of that stuff, getting into like pop music and stuff and blues and stuff like that, it was like it came real easy, rock and roll and stuff,
You guys used to play years and years ago at a little bar in Valley Stream, if I'm not correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and my girlfriend, we used to go all the way out there. And I'm like, I know Jim, not from here. I'm like, I'm going to my girlfriend, Martha. I'm like, Martha, I'm like, where? She's like, Valley Stream. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, that was like eons ago.
Are you talking about Kate's Saloon in like Rosedale or on the borderline of like on Hook Creek Boulevard?
Somewhere it was like Valley Stream area. That's pretty. I had a car accident, so I have a little, I forget a lot of things. So.
You get a little doo-doo-doo there. Huh?
Yeah. Well, I could do, yeah. Oh, definitely. My son will say, I was just talking to my son today, and he's like, Mom, you remember this? And I'm like, car accident, hello. Like, he could tell me anything, and I'll be like, "You'd be lying to me for all I know."
Well, that place, I think I played there in like 1993, 94 or something like that. I think was something like, you know, it was like
Yeah, it was
quite
it was a
some
while
time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, eons.
Yeah.
How about before you were a full-time musician? Did you hold a regular job down?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been working since I was 12 years old. I was a
Oh
paper
wow.
boy. Yeah, and then I was cleaning floors in the building, waxing floors, and you know doing maintenance.
Anybody
And
lives their floors clean culture? No.
I'm retired from that, man.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's why I'm working now, hard as I can. I'm trying to make up that money. I got to get some retirement money going.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I also got a job at the West Isle Public Library. That's like my other career. That's what I do from Monday to Thursday. But you know, that's closed right now, so I'm actually okay. You know, like still doing all right, making money, and having time off and getting more time to spend with my girlfriend and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very, very
You got
cool.
a good girl
like
there. You got a very good girl there, Jim. She's a sweetheart.
Oh, she's the best. The best.
Yeah. Okay. I just had to check the time because dummy over here doesn't have a clock in front of her again. So we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Okay.
ALJ Service Center, 2100 Belmore Avenue in Belmore. Ray and the crew have an outstanding reputation in the Belmore community, built by hard work, honesty, and professionalism. ALJ specializes in computer diagnostics for today's modern automobiles. Whether it's domestic or foreign, ALJ assures your vehicle is at peak performance when it leaves. ALJ also offers expert restoration and repair on vehicles as well as antique, classic, and muscle cars. Call ALJ for your automotive needs. 516-409-4433. Once again, that number is 516-409-4433.
This is Jerry Ann Casola. She has just finished working on a collection of short stories about the love and joy rescue animals can bring. Each chapter contains a message about how people should and could be kinder to animals. The book is rated G, meaning family friendly. To order Life in the Pits, send $13 to paypal.me/Jerry Ann Casola.
Pit of Our Souls, a nonprofit animal rescue that deals primarily with pit bulls but will never turn away any dog, no matter what breed or size. Their primary focus is not only to rescue and rehome those in need, but to educate and rehabilitate to prevent the cycle from continuing. Pit of Our Souls offers boarding, training, and as much assistance as possible to those in need. Call Pit of Our Souls 516-308-6221 or check out their website www.pitofoursoulsrescue.com.
And we are back with guitar legend Jim Moran. So while we were on our commercial break, Jim has kindly volunteered to play live for us. What are you going to do, Jim?
We'll figure something out. Maybe I'll do some blues here for you.
You know what I listened to in the truck the other day? I listened to Skull Button, and I just started laughing.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got to get a guitar pick out. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
All righty.
Let's see. See if I can move back a little further. Try to go as far as I can. There we go. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Further on up the road, someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on up the road, baby, someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on up the road, you find out I was lying. You gotta reap just what you sow. That old saying is true. You gotta reap just what you sow, baby. That old saying is true. Just like you hurt someone, so bound to hurt you. You can laugh and pretty, baby. Someday you're gonna be crying. You can laugh and pretty, baby. Someday you're gonna be crying. Early on up the road, down on the line.
Woo, nice. Reminds me of Sundays. Sunday fun day.
There you go.
I know. I just can't wait. How about in your spare? What do you do in your spare time besides sleep?
Besides sleep and work, well, I do a lot of other things. You know, like I like exercising, working out a little bit. I get into that, and
Nice.
also I like watching like boxing, and I like to watch the fights. You know, like the MMA and stuff like that, and
Right.
I like sports. You know, I like follow sports. It's nice to listen to sports like radio on the way home from a gig when you have a late night, you know, stuff like that. And I like to go, you know, we like, with Lori, we like to do, we have our things we like to do on Sundays and stuff. Or, you know, nowadays we have Sundays, but back in the day we didn't have many Sundays to hang out. Now we get more time than ever to hang out. So it's good, you know.
That's awesome. And you're still together after all of this.
Yeah, that's right. We're not yelling and screaming at each other, which is beautiful. You know?
No need to. There's
that's
no
right.
need to. You could always calmly work things out without cursing, yelling, screaming.
Yeah, it's.
I guess you just get to a point where you're more mature. And you use your brain, you know.
I guess that's what happens, eh?
Yeah. How about songs that you could play over and over and over? Do you have a choice on that?
What songs that I play over and over? Yeah, you know what? I like all the songs that I play.
Do you have just one in particular that you do, or is it a series of a bunch?
Are you talking about a popular song that people like? Is that what you want?
No, just like, you personally.
My personal. Me personally, I love playing like I don't know. I like playing the Allman Brothers a lot. because there's a lot of room for like improvisation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In music. I like doing a lot of like jazz stuff too, like some Coltrane and some Miles and stuff like that. I love playing Beatles songs too, because those are always fun to do too.
Oh yeah. I like the old Beatles, like the older stuff. I Want to Hold Your Hand and the Hard Day's Night album, stuff like that. That's the ones I'm more into. Like a lot of my friends like Sgt. Pepper. Go ahead.
Well, I think a lot of people like they like the energy of the early Beatles. That's what it is. It's that energy, and we grew up knowing that energy. You know what I mean? So we knew, like, as soon as you heard like the Beatles, like I remember, and this is probably 10, 15 years after Ed Sullivan. I'd be watching a TV program with my folks, and all of a sudden they'd be talking about the Beatles. And everybody was like glued to the television set still,
Yeah.
It's amazing, right?
Oh yeah. How about touring? Have you gone out on tour for, with anyone?
Oh yeah. I went to Europe in 99. I did that. I did 2 trips to Europe in 99. I did a tour with Stevie. I played bass with Stevie Cochran in 99. I backed him up and did a tour with him. That was fun. And we did a lot of. It was a crazy gig. It was fun, but it was definitely there was some cancellations on the tour. Touring is tough. It can be. It's up and down. It depends on the situation you get.
Yeah, especially like if you go out with somebody like Everlast, Hall and Oates, things. Where it's consistent and, they're known everywhere. And then you guys are walking into a club and you're like, wow, this is not what we expected. Or you get a cancellation while you're on tour, because didn't fill out enough. That's got to be hard.
Well, things fall out, stuff, the deals fall out. And also, but then you get these tours. I remember we did this tour and we had a couple of cancellations. And like our last gig, we had like 3 encores. We played this festival in the middle of the woods in Switzerland. It was amazing. It was like, I have to say that was probably about 10,000 people there. And it was like we had 3 encores. The people loved us. And, Stevie was a great guy to work with. He was major talent, God rest his soul,
Very talented man.
Yeah.
Very, very talented.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, he's missed, definitely.
Yeah. Nice guy. Very nice guy.
Yeah.
Before we were talking like Beatles and stuff. So this is what kind of like, can we go back into time? So if you could sit and chat with a musician, dead or alive, who would you sit and chat with?
Ooh, that's there's probably quite a few of them on the list. That's for sure. I would say probably number 1, John Lennon. He was the beginning of my musical journey. Yeah. And who else? McCartney, John Coltrane, Wes Montgomery, George Benson. There's a lot of them. Mick Jagger, Keith Richards. All the guys that are there. It'd be nice to sit and do something like you're doing with them.
I'm just a little fishy in the big pond right now.
That's right. That's what we all are. But it's a beautiful pond.
Yeah.
Now,
I know. Long Island is so awesome. We have so much cool stuff out here. We have so many talented musicians. It's just really incredible. You could, in one night, you could hit 3, if you can, which I don't think I can anymore, but you could hit 3 places and see 3 bands in one night, because there's always something going on.
Yeah, and it's like, bar bouncing is like a Long Island thing, that's for sure. I think bar bouncing, we taught the rest of the world how to bounce. New Yorkers in general, I should say, New York City, Long Island. we taught the rest of the world how to bounce from bar to bar, you know.
Oh
You go
yeah.
see this band. You know, I mean, that was the beautiful thing about Long Island and New York City. You can go see 3 or 4 different bands in one night. You can go see a set down at the Red Lion. You can go see a set down at the Bitter End. You can go to Kenny's Castaways when they were open, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun because like a couple of times my girlfriends and I, we went to the city, saw a band here, stopped for a cocktail, jumped the train, get back into the train, you know, back here on Long Island. My one girlfriend lives in Lindenhurst. Hey, somebody's playing down the road. Let's go, you know, and you can do these things. It was easy enough to
Right.
do, but it's different now, you know, with everything, you know, the laws with the drinking and the driving, you know, not that I condone, you know, that. I mean, yeah, have a drink or two, don't overdo it, and you know, definitely pace it and drink water before you leave. But it's
Well,
so
definitely.
different now. Just so.
Well, thank
How
God that,
about
you know, that, what was that you
Go
were
ahead.
saying? No, I was
I
going to say,
forgot.
thank God that they have Uber these days. So you
Yeah.
can, you know, you can just like go out with your friends, 3 or 4 friends, and take Ubers everywhere, you know?
Yeah. I've used Uber. It's very interesting, especially when the guy turned the corner and I almost went flying out the door. I'm like, did you clean the seats today or something? And I'm sitting in the car, I'm talking to the guy, he turns and I'm like, wee! And there it was like, I was gone.
Doing the old armor roll slide, huh?
Pretty much. How about, I got a good one for you, and you might hate me for this, but what is the worst thing that's ever happened while you were on stage?
Oh, the worst thing? Ooh, boy, that's... Oh, okay. I got a good worst thing that ever happened story. I was playing at Chesterfield's in Huntington. Remember that place, right?
Oh, yeah.
The upstairs place. And
I
they had a
remember
rainstorm.
that.
Yeah, they had a rainstorm. And I guess they had a leak coming through the roof. And I remember I was playing a song. I couldn't tell you what song I was playing. It was Tim Smith, myself, and Jay Sharkey, and I think Peter Antonio. We were playing at Chesterfield's, and it was raining out, and there was a leak, and the ceiling tile got waterlogged, and like a huge chunk of the ceiling in the bar came out. I got whacked in the head with it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and we still kept going. Nothing stopped us, man. It was like I remember the guy Cliff.
Yeah.
He all of a sudden became a really good friend of mine.
I can't imagine how.
God bless him. He was a good guy. I liked him anyway. So
yeah. Let's see. Well, when you are writing songs, do you write everything? Do you write everything yourself, or do you have everybody just jump in and take a piece here and there and help out?
Well, I collaborate a lot with Ed Terry. I've written with him a lot. I've collaborated with people. I'm more into collaborations because I've also collaborated with Dana Keene on a couple of things. And
another talented guy, very talented guy, very, very talented.
Oh, amazingly talented, and a great human being and a fine soul. You know, he's a good man. It's like family, that guy.
Sweet guy.
Yeah. But I like doing gigs with him too. Once in a while, I do some gigs. I fill in for Donnie Salenza, and I've worked with Danny, and it's always fun to work with Danny. He's an amazing guy, just kind soul. You know, you want a good Danny Keene story? I got a good Danny Keene story for you. This is, okay. Let's see. Danny was probably about 17. And we were going to do, him and I got hired to do a cocktail hour out in Southampton. So we had to do a cocktail hour, and we were getting paid pretty decent money. And it's the first time that Danny's ever done a quote unquote, what they call a club date, you know? And a club date is like, you know, like a wedding, a party, you know, like a higher end gig. So the accoutrements are a lot better doing a higher end gig than just doing a regular bar gig, And so we're doing this gig, and I told him, I says, we got to get dressed up for this gig, So I forgot to tell him that he had to wear a tux. So he comes out with a suit. It's black, thank God. But it was like, a church suit that you wear on Sunday to church. It wasn't a formal tux, So I remember it was on a Sunday, and it just so happens we're driving down Sunrise Highway. I see a tux store. I take him in there, and I bought him a tux shirt and a bow tie. And we were in the dressing room, and we made the hit, and it was a beautiful thing. I guess it was his first club date he ever did. So
was it your first club date?
Nah, no, I was a veteran by that point.
What was the first place that you ever played in?
Wee Scotty's in West Babylon. You remember that place?
No.
That was on Sunrise Highway and Hubbard's Path, right in West Babylon.
By the booby bar.
Oh yeah. What was that?
Stonehenge.
Stone. Yeah, on the other side of the Sunrise.
Okay. So
yeah.
I got.
And there was a bar named Logan's Run that used to be next door to that place. You remember?
No, I didn't really go. If I was going east, I went east. There was I used to go to Southold to see a band.
Yeah.
I mean, who does these things?
Well, what was the other place out east?
In the middle of the winter?
The Bordy Barn, right? That was the other place that was out east. Did you ever go out to that place? Yeah.
Not my cup of tea. Just that. No.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like back in the day. That was a lot of New York City people in that bar. A lot of Brooklyn.
Yeah, I was more going to like Danceteria in Manhattan. Three different floors, 3 different kind of musics, and
and
I
the
just
Cat
floating
Club,
around.
right?
My girlfriends wanted to listen to New Wave. Gotta go listen to New Wave downstairs. I'll be in the middle floor listening to disco, or I'll be upstairs rocking out.
What was that place that was that used to be a church? What the heck was that place? It was on
Limelight
Street.
The Limelight.
Yes. I remember that place. Yeah, that was that had that was another like 3 or 4 different floors of
Crazy
different things.
place.
Yeah. Like one floor was a dance club, the other one was like a rock and roll club, and the other one was whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
The wild days.
Yeah, we're not so wild anymore.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to sleep. Like, since this thing has started, I'm in bed by like 11, 12 o'clock, I'm like,
yeah,
falling asleep.
I'm still rolling home late, some of our orders aren't getting out till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's when I roll.
Yeah. So you work during the week what are you working, 5 days?
Yeah. I do. Sunday is the day shift. So like Saturday night, I have to go to bed early, and I can't shut my head off because my body's not used to it. So it's like, and then you hear every little thing in the house and sit straight up, and oh my God.
Yeah.
When you were growing up, were your parents a big influence on you?
My aunt was. I had an aunt that was, she just passed away a couple of years ago, but she turned me on to the Beatles when I was a young guy.
Yeah.
My mom, too. She played always had the radio on in the house, listening to the oldies. What was it? CBS FM, right?
Oh, yeah.
We used to listen to
that. Now we're listening to the oldies as our music.
WABC, right?
Yeah, and my son wants to wring my neck. Shh.
Hey, don't put that right. When we listen to the oldies, right? What did your parents listen to? Frank Sinatra and
and when I make sauce on Sunday, Sunday sauce, and I'm doing my meatballs, guess what's playing? Sinatra. Martin,
Sinatra. Yeah, it was my grandmother, because my other half of my family is Mediterranean. I'm half Maltese, so like that was like being Italian, growing up.
Yeah.
So my grandmother, she would be listening to like, what was that guy, Jimmy Roselli and all of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, my Irish father would be like, geez, she's listening to that pizza parlor music again. It's like Archie Bunker.
Yeah, but that music also puts you in the mood when you're cooking. At least it does for me.
Yeah, definitely sets the vibe up. And that's all good music. I like that music though. I like listening to that music myself too. Reminds me of being a kid.
Louis Prima? What do you think about Louis Prima?
Louis Prima is an amazing artist. He was an amazing artist. I listened to a lot of his stuff growing up because my grandparents liked him as well. Like he was very popular, and he was in a lot of movies and stuff. So my grandfather liked him. At one point, I was doing a show, a concert with all of these drummers, and I met Louis Prima's original drummer about 10, 15 years ago. The guy was like in his 80s. And he was telling us about how he used to play with Louis Prima. And he said Louis Prima they would play 6 hours a night, every night, like 5-6 nights a week. They were playing 5-6 hours a night.
I would have to say that man was way ahead of his time.
Oh yeah. Him, Buddy Rich, all of them guys from back in the day, I used to listen to Buddy Rich a lot when I was young too. I used to love to see him when he was on like the Tonight Show and stuff like that. You
ever get into Elvis at all?
Oh yeah, that's my mom. She was the one that turned me on to Elvis because she was part of that. The Elvis era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mother didn't like when I played Elvis. She didn't get into that one.
Yeah, she wanted to hear Sinatra, right?
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Tony Bennett,
my mom was the stay-at-home mom, so it's like the Italian music and the Italian food was always cooking in the house.
That's it. Smell like garlic 24 hours around the clock, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. When I had my house, my other house, it was my parents were like, oh my God, they walk in the door. What are you cooking now? No, that was from Sunday. Here's a couple of jars of sauce.
Yeah, you gotta make it official though. You gotta put the house coat and the rollers on and a cup of coffee, right?
I don't think we're putting this in rollers, but I can attempt that. I got the robe though somewhere.
I remember my Maltese grandmother. She used to spend like all of like Friday in the beauty parlor for like 3 or 4 hours under the hair dryer. I mean, it was like ridiculous. I remember it was funny.
Unreal.
We'd be
totally unreal.
She'd be in the hair salon, and we'd be like, or as they used to call it, what they call it, the beauty parlor back in the day, right?
Gotta go to the beauty parlor floor.
Right, and we'd be like, my grandmother lived in Queens, so like like living in Queens is like an amusement park for kids. We'd be like going down Hillside Avenue and ringing doorbells and running, and it was just fun stuff when we were kids,
Yeah, it's like when you're living in the city, life is so different. You can just walk outside, go down the block either way. You got your beauty parlor, you got this, you got that. Out here, it's okay. You walk down the block and there's a stop sign and there's more houses before you get to the big street. And now which way do I have to go?
Yeah, so, and God forbid, like you have to walk like 2 miles before you can get a bus, right? I mean, 1 or 2 miles before you can get on a bus. Yeah. I mean,
thank God I'm right down the block. 7-minute walk, and I'm at the train station. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you live right by the train station? That's good, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the hood. I'm over here in the hood. I kind of like it, and there are days that I just want to get out of here. And then 2 hours later, I'm like, I love living over there. It's fun. You never know what's going to happen when you're driving down the street. You got roosters in the road. There's chickens crossing the road. A gunshot just went off.
Home sweet home, right?
I think I think one just happened. Um, how about have you been compared to like somebody like super famous?
When I was younger, a lot of guys used to say I look like. You remember the guitar player from Chicago, Terry Kath?
Bow, bow, bow. I love Chicago. That was one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
yeah. Like a lot of guys used to say, I look like him a little bit when I was a kid. Like because we built the same hair, and and a lot of blues guys like Eric Clapton. Like I was never compared to him. I could never fill his shoes, but I play a lot like him. I can sound like a lot of different people. I'm a pretty good mimic, I guess, is what I've been told.
All I know is anytime I bartended and you played, you had me in stitches all the time. The stuff that would come out. I'm like, what did he just say? What did he call me again? They called me the Victim of Vodka one night. I'm like, where did that come from? I'm the sister of the soul, sister of the sons. I'm like, come on. Does this just come in your head and out of your mouth?
Yeah, it's just, just trying to create fun, that's the whole thing.
Yeah. It's always a good time when you play in a venue that I'm working in. It's always a good time. And I am guaranteed to make some money.
Well, we like to, that's our goal. Keep that register ringing, that's what keeps us coming back,
As long as I don't do a lot of shots, we're good.
And that's it. It's a downhill ride, right?
Then you start turning around and go, did I serve that person? Did I ring them up? The blonde kicks in, Jim's making fun of me again. Ed's on the drums laughing at something. I'm like, there's a lot going on here.
Well, Ed has always been a good partner to work with. That's for sure,
Yeah.
Good guy.
I remember there was one time, and it's the first, just the first time that I heard you do it. For some reason, you introduce Ed, and then you start playing the Monsters. Like, what is that all about?
Well, back when he was younger and he didn't wear a hat, you remember those days?
Yes, I do.
Pre-fedora. And he used to wear his hair like really slick back. And I used to call him Eddie. I used to say he was Eddie Munster all grown up. He used to.
Oh, what a crack up. What a crack up. My time check. Okay. It is that wonderful time. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to say my thank yous, and then Bobby's going to roll a collaboration of Jim's stuff. So while I am here, I want to thank my guest, of course. Thank you so much for taking the time out, Jim, for being on my show.
It was
totally
a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Well,
I've been trying to get you on for so long. I was like, at an opening, bingo.
That's it. It takes a pandemic to get us together.
Exactly. I want to thank my sponsors that help keep the show going. I want to thank Bobby, of course, for keeping the music alive, and our viewers, because without your weekly attendance, we wouldn't be here. So everybody have a great week. Jim, thank you again. And Bobby, roll that video.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
I'm that guitar, ladies and gentlemen, for the past 7 years. Jim has been my guitar player in my jam band here. And it seems like, Jim, every time I look over to my right, you're always there. You've never been late, and you've never missed a gig. Now, we've been through a whole bunch of different guys tonight. Look at this again, right? But you're always there. Say hi to Jim Moran on guitar. Come on, Jim.